Morning, Mr. Mills.
Morning, Alice.
Good morning.
Morning, mate. So, me. She's come back to work.
Morning, girls. Morning. Ethel, Sylvie.
Morning.
Look, I'm sorry, Mrs. Thursday, Mum. I was preoccupied when you came in. I didn't realise, you understand.
Oh, it's all right, Mr. Mills. I didn't want to bother you.
Oh, if I'd known, I'd had the front entrance open and the director's elevator working. You haven't come to...
I just came in to collect a few things.
Oh, yes, of course. All right, girls, now, back to your work. I talk for the moment. Begging your pardon, Mum. I mean, knowing how conscientious you are, still, that wouldn't do now, would it, Mum?
Wouldn't it?
Oh, no, Mum. I mean, you're in command now, so to speak, Mum. Couldn't have you working, could we?
Couldn't we?
Set a very bad example, that would, Mum.
Would it?
Oh, yeah, well, let me take these things, shall I, Mum?
Oh, well, I think everything's here. There's all except 2 dusters. I got them at home in the wash. I'll bring them in on Friday.
Yes, I'll see to it, Mum. Hey, you won't want this little lot again, Mum.
Well, you never know.
Thank you, Mum. Now, I expect you like to go to your private centre, Mrs. Thursday, Mum. This way, Mum.
No, I don't think I will.
Oh, no, don't worry, Mum, don't worry. I'll have the cleaners out of here in no time. Please. Well, there we are now. Are there any little requirements I can obtain for you, Mum?
No, thank you, Mr. Mills.
Oh, well, then I'll get back on duty, as the saying is, Mum. And may I add how very grateful and pleased I am to hear of your good fortune.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Mr. Mills.
Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them.
Yes.
Yes, I remember my old CO, Colonel Cook Waterby, saying those very words to me the day he made me up to Company Sergeant Major, Mum.
Fancy.
Yes. Now, come along, girls, if you please. You can finish off
There's
later.
no hurry, really. It's all right. There's no hurry.
As you wish, Mum. Don't make a meal of it now.
I see they put Sylvie with you.
Yep.
You'll like it on this floor, Sylvie. Nice crowd of girls.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
Always got on well together, haven't we, Ethel?
Very well. Can I have my duster, please?
What? Oh, I wasn't thinking. Ethel, I don't want it to make no difference.
What?
Oh, you know, the money and that.
It will, won't it? Stands to reason, doesn't it? Well, that ought to do, Sylvie. Time for a cup of tea before we start on the Vice Chairman.
Okay.
I hope everything's to your satisfaction.
No, it is not.
Oh? And what's wrong, may I ask, madam?
Madam. Who do you think you're talking to, Ethel Turner, eh? Who do you think you're talking to?
I'm talking to you, madam. Just because you got a few million quid
Doesn't mean you can insult me.
insult you. Oh, I like that. Do you hear that, Sylvie? Me insult you. I never opened my mouth till you started telling me I didn't know my work.
I said no such thing.
That's calling me a liar.
And you call me madam.
Well, you are a madam.
You say that again, Ethel, and I'll...
What?
Do you?
Oh, you and who else? There you are. What did I tell you? Comes in here large as life and starts laying down the law.
Yeah.
Didn't take her long, did it?
Oh, you can't be criticised, can you? Oh, no, you're so perfect.
Listen, just because your earrolls are hanging in diamonds, that don't give you the right...
It gives me as much right as you or anybody else.
What did you come in for, anyway? To show off? Let us see the new governor.
What did I come in for? Well, if you don't know that, Ethel, I'm not going to tell you. We've worked together here for years. We've scrubbed and polished these offices on our bended knees. And if you don't know me after all that, well,
Why did you come in? You didn't have to.
I don't know. I couldn't sleep in. So used to getting up early. I suppose I come in from force of habit. And I thought I'd like to see you all.
Well, I suppose now that you are here, you'd like a cup of tea.
See?
Cost you threepence, won't it? We can't afford to pay for your tea, you know. Here, can we have it in here?
Oh, I don't know. Yes, why not?
Yes.
Yes, bring it in
Morning, morning.
Good morning, Mr. Lever.
Morning, love. Charles, saw you drive up.
Joe, would you tell Mrs. Thursday we're here, please?
She isn't at home, sir.
Now, where is she?
The car's gone to get her. She's expected any minute.
Oh, in that case, we'll wait, eh, Joe?
All right.
Edna. Who's that?
It's Charles Barker and Mr. Lever.
Ah, did the florist send my...
Here, Mr. Hunter.
Excellent. A horticultural triumph. And the finishing touch, if you wouldn't mind, Edna. You intend to stay on, Edna?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I'm delighted to hear it. You approve of Mrs. Thursday, then, I take it?
Oh, I think she's lovely. You intend to stay, Mr. Hunter?
Yes, indeed. Mrs. Thursday's been kind enough to offer me a position as her business and financial advisor.
You're joking.
I have accepted the situation. I felt it my duty to help.
But you can't even make your own wages go round. You owed me £1 from 3 weeks ago.
I think I'll take this opportunity of having a powwow with Sir Charles and Mr. Lever, our Venezuelan oil holdings. I'm rather concerned about it. You'd better announce me, I think.
What?
Don't say what.
Well, I mean announcing you. Now, when I think of what you tried on upstairs not 2 weeks ago and what you tried on
An
in the
error
kitchen...
of judgment. I misread your character.
Yes, you did, didn't you?
And I apologized.
Only after I hit you with the sort of...
A defensive action which did you credit.
Now, if I told Terry...
Terry? Oh, yes, your friend with the motorbike. But you won't, will you? You haven't, have you?
Go on. Get in with the knobs.
Edna, I worship you. Oh, from a distance, of course.
Mr...
Richard Byron. What? Go on.
Mr. Richard Byron Hunter.
Morning, gentlemen.
Where's Mrs. Thursday?
Is she back yet?
We must see her before the board meeting this afternoon.
Oh, she should be here any moment now. Do I see the Financial Times? Do you mind? Thank you.
Yes, you might well shake your head. The Dundridge Group shares were at their lowest for 10 years.
This is damned uncertainty. We must know Mrs. Thursday's intentions.
Tell me, Sir Charles, do you think Frankfurt will continue its restrictive monetary policy?
I fail to see whether...
Zurich had a weak trend, too, yesterday. It's bad. Bad.
Oh, damn Frankfurt and damn Zurich. What I want to know...
Mr. Lever, but we operate in a world financial market. I was wondering about Canadian nickel.
What does Mrs. Thursday intend to do? We must know.
She surely doesn't mean to take an active part in the group's affairs.
Yeah, she may. Then again, she may not.
Well, Mr. Lever and I have discussed that matter, and we have agreed that he would be the best choice as new chairman.
Oh?
And I intend to nominate Sir Charles as managing director.
Really?
But we must have Mrs. Thursday's support.
If I might make a suggestion, Mr. Lever.
Yes, what is it?
That tie clashes violently with the suit. If I might venture a word of advice, a discreet polka dot grey, perhaps.
Now, look here, Hunter. Stop jackassing
Oh,
about.
I'm quite serious, Mr. Lever. If you're to be the new chairman, it's essential.
You mean we can rely upon her support?
Well,
You know her plans. You have discussed it with her.
at odd moments, in passing, so to speak.
And what did you advise?
Come on.
No. Don't press him, Joe. Don't press him. Naturally, he cannot reveal the nature of any private conversation he may have had with Mrs. Thursday, but I think we can take it that he advised her in the right way. Eh, Hunter?
She does tend to rely upon my judgment.
Capital, excellent.
Well, he'll not be forgotten, Hunter. Depend on that.
Yes, Edna, what is it?
Bates has just come back to the car, sir.
Where's Mrs. Thursday?
She wasn't at home, he said. A neighbour said she went out at 6 to go to the office as usual.
The office?
What's she up to there?
Come on.
Here, listen. Here, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the Dunwich Ladies Choir in that wonderful old favourite, the Cleaners' Chorus. You'll break that machine. Here, come on, girls, get round the mic. No, wait. I want to make a phone call. I think I'll phone Frank Sinatra in Hollywood. No, wait, Alice. Your daughter, the youngest. Now, where is she living? Canada, innit?
In Hamilton.
Well, why don't you ring her? Go on, ring her. Oh, yes.
Oh, I never heard such a thing.
Oh, it's a wonderful idea. Come on, Alice should have the shock of her life when she hears you.
No, I couldn't now.
Go on,
No.
it's your phone, innit? You got her number?
I've got it somewhere.
Oh, come on, then. Come on, I'll get it for you. Right, fine.
Hello? Oh, hello. This is Mrs. Thursday's private secretary speaking. I would like you to connect me with Hamilton, Canada, please. Yes, the telephone number is 231-4590. Well, of course it's priority. What? You'll ring me back? Oh, thank you. They are simple, isn't it?
I've got a sister in Australia. Of course.
Back it up. Now, come on, get round this mic. Now, the Cleaners' Chorus. 1, 2, 3. Love all, the long and the short and the tall. Together what's right, as long as they ask us for life. The young and the old and the hot and
Yes?
We'd like to see Mrs. Thursday, please.
Yes, sir. You and a few thousand other people, sir?
It's urgent, very urgent. I'm a friend, you see.
Oh, I don't doubt it, sir. Have you got an appointment, sir?
Well, no.
Well, I'm afraid it's out of the question, sir. You'll have to ride in.
Well, this can't wait.
Oh, it's ever so important, Sergeant. Couldn't you just
Mrs. Thursday, as you may surmise, miss, is a very busy woman. Now, I'm afraid you'll have to commit your request to writing,
Oh,
miss.
but then it'll be too...
I'm sorry, miss. Hello, what's your issue?
Special delivery. Letters for Mrs. Thursday.
You get a lot?
You're joking, mate. We've got a van load outside and more to come.
All right, here, come on,
the
son. Put 'em
Persian
here.
pools.
Down here. All right, I'll see them.
It's essential that we get this matter settled, Mrs. Thursday.
Yes.
I have the city on the phone to me every quarter of an hour.
Really?
It's a question of confidence, you understand.
I know.
It's the uncertainty, you see. The banks are worried, the finance houses are worried, our investors and shareholders are worried.
And you're worried, I can see that.
Yes, we are. Oh, not for ourselves, for the company. Now, we can settle this in a few moments. You want to do the right thing, I know. can we have your support at the board meeting? That's all we ask. It's merely a question... What's the matter?
Stomach.
What?
You suffer with your stomach, do you?
Well, it does play me up a bit, but never mind that. The important question... What made you ask about my stomach?
My husband was the same, chronic. And I always knew, I could always tell. I knew when an attack was coming on before he did.
No, wait. How could you tell?
Well, funny, really. It always showed in his eyes. They used to go sort of light red round the edges and all watery looking. Sure sign. Here, you look. See? See what I mean? Pinky red round the edges and watery looking.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
You bolt your food, don't you? I'll lay odds you bolt your food.
Look.
Bert was the same. The moment he sat down...
We were discussing the chairmanship.
I can bring you in some medicine. Dr. Daybreak's Indian herb mixture. Best stuff out. Bert swore by it.
Yes, thank you.
What would you like, the 2 and 9 size or the 4 and 6? The 4 and 6 is cheaper in the long run.
Whatever you think. Now, can we count on your support at the board meeting, Mrs. Thursday?
Oh, well, I'd like to help if I can.
Oh. Yes?
Mrs. Thursday's called to Canada, and Mrs. Stockton on the line.
It's Pat. It's my daughter.
She's on the phone.
Oh, I'd never. All that way.
What is it?
Your private phone, Mrs. Thursday.
Oh.
Private.
Oh, I'm sorry. In here.
Hello, Pat. That's you. Oh, Mummy. How are you? How's David? Oh. No, they're making a lot of fuss about nothing, dear. No, you see, it's not mine, really. It's a sort of trust. How's your leg? Oh, well, you want to be careful, love. Muscles are funny things. I said muscles can be funny things.
No, Mrs. Thursday has no statement to make. I'm sorry. Mr. Graham, the board meeting's at 2:30. Yes. Miss Mackenzie speaking. Yes, Mr. Coles. Well, you'll simply have to put on more staff to deal with the letters, won't you? Of course the board will authorize it. Hello? Jim. Yes, it's Jean. But I can't talk now, dear. I'm absolutely up against it. I'll try and phone you back later. Bye. Switchboard. It's Jean Mackenzie here. Will you stop all those calls for a minute? Yes, well, ask them to ring back later or something. Fine. Thank you. Bye. What a morning. Oh, I really don't think there's any point in you waiting. You can see what things are like here.
Well, we'll hang on a bit longer, just on the off chance.
Miss Mackenzie. Am I or am I not responsible for the allocation of offices in this building?
Yes, Mr. Beacon.
Then will you kindly tell me who gave permission for the corner executive suite on this floor to be taken over?
I didn't know it had been taken over.
It has, Miss Mackenzie. It has. The corner executive suite, mark you. It's been requisitioned for a Mr. Hunter, a gentleman of whom I've...
Mr. Hunter. Mr. Hunter is Mrs. Thursday's personal assistant and business advisor.
The corner executive suite for a personal assistant. This really is too much, Miss Mackenzie. Why, that office has its own bathroom. Only directors and top executives are entitled to that. And there's wall-to-wall carpeting. It won't do, Miss Mackenzie. It won't do at all. This Mr. Hunter must be told.
Somebody mentioned my name.
Mr. Hunter, Mr. Beacon.
Ah, Mr. Hunter. I wanted to have a word.
So you're Beacon. You're just the fellow I need. I'm moving into the office along the corridor, the one on the corner. A trifle on the small side, but it'll suffice. I'm not enamored of the pictures, my dear chap. I shall want them changed.
Mr. Hunter...
And I'd like a decent couch installed. Do a great deal of my thinking in a prone position, you know. And have a selection of secretaries sent for me to look over after lunch, will you?
Secretaries? Selection?
Well, say half a dozen or so. I shall only want a couple to start with, of course, but one likes to have a choice, Efficiency combined with charm, that's the sort of thing. And not too mature, naturally. Nothing that's withering on the bough, so to speak. Well, I'm quite sure I can leave it to you. Mrs. Thursday still in conference?
Yes, Mr. Hunter.
Ah, then I shall be needed. Excuse me.
Mr. Hunter, The corner executive suite.
Your name was, Beacon. Beacon. Oh, yes. The shining light. I shall make a note of it. Carry on, Beacon.
But I have no proper authorization, Miss Mackenzie. I mean, there are channels.
Oh, Mr. Beacon, I shouldn't worry about that. I should just do as Mr. Hunter says.
Yes, I suppose you're right. Well, it's most irregular. You know, these are strange and disturbing times, Miss Mackenzie. What is happening to our sense of values? A personal assistant on this floor and in an executive suite.
Yes?
We're going to lunch, Miss Mackenzie. See that any urgent calls are put through to the director's dining room.
Yes, Mr. Lever. Is Mrs. Thursday
She's lunching with us.
She's gone to lunch. And there's a board meeting after that. That could take hours. I really don't think there's any point in you waiting.
Well, we have to see her.
Oh, yes, and before the board meets. It can't be done. Honestly, I'm sorry, but there you are.
All right. Well, thanks for your help. We'll come back tomorrow, perhaps.
Oh, but Don.
Oh, you can see how it is, Joyce. Well, thanks, Miss Mackenzie. You've been very kind.
There's a lift just down the corridor.
Yeah, all right. We'll find it. Thank you.
Don.
The lift's just along here.
Well, tomorrow will be too late.
I know that, you twerp. It weren't doing any good just sitting there waiting. Come on, we'll see if we can find her for ourselves.
All right.
You know, either she's damn stupid or she's very, very clever. We still don't know what she intends to do, you know.
I can't make head nor tail of her. Why is she stalling?
Charles?
Oh, thank you.
Mr. Lever?
I'd like to know where Hunter comes into all this. Don't trust him too much, you know.
Dunrich obviously did.
Yes.
Well, we'll just better have another go at them over lunch, that's all, Charles. He's smiling, Charles, but to show willing.
All right, Muriel, just coming, love.
No, Harry, just wondered if there was anything you wanted.
Oh, no, I've got enough stuff here to stock a chemist's shop. Here, look, I think I'll try a drop of that. Secret of the desert. Smell.
Fab.
No, I don't think I like it.
Never thought I'd see you up here.
Well, I never dreamt I'd be up here, dear. Funny things happen, don't they?
Here, the whole firm's on tenterhooks. Half of them are frightened out of their wits.
Oh.
Well, they're worried about their jobs, aren't they? You should hear the talk in the staff canteen. Different room every 5 minutes. Half of them reckon Sir Charles Watson will take over. Half reckon it'll be Mr. Lever.
Well, wouldn't they like that?
Well, it isn't a question of what they'd like, is it? I've got a friend in administration, and he says that if either of them become chairman, there'll be a big sort-out.
Oh, well, from what I've seen, Sir Charles and Mr. Lever seem two very nice gentlemen.
Well, I'm not saying otherwise, am I? Only my friend says that it's common knowledge that they both disagreed with a lot of Mr. Dunrich's ideas, and he reckons they're going to be wholesale changes. Well, that's what he said. Yeah, what is going to happen, Mrs. Thursday?
Well, I don't know myself, Muriel. I'm still trying to take it all in. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? But you can be sure of one thing. Nobody's going to get the sack if I can help it.
No, I suppose not. I'll dish up the grub in 5 minutes, OK?
OK.
Oh, sorry. I forgot. Luncheon will be served in 5 minutes, madam.
Oh, thank you, dear. Here, Muriel.
Yes?
Does your mum know about your friend in the, what did you say, administration?
Oh, I hope not. He's married.
Fancy.
Oh, excuse me. We're trying to find the dining room. We were told it was on this floor.
Oh, yes, that's right. It's the second door on the right.
Oh, thank you so much.
That's the director's dining room. You'd want the staff canteen. That's on the first floor.
Oh, thank you.
I hope I haven't kept you waiting.
Not at all, not at all.
It's a nice room.
Yes, it's quite pleasant.
Lovely silver.
Yes, it's very attractive.
Mind you, I've cursed it many a time.
I beg your pardon.
Well, it used to be one of my jobs, you know, keeping it clean. Took hours, too. Messy job. However, now they got all these modern cleaners have taken most of the hard work out of it, haven't they?
Have they? Yes, I suppose they have.
Might as well start, I think. No good letting it all get cold. For what we are about to receive, may the Lord make us truly thankful. Amen.
Amen.
Mrs. Thursday, there isn't very much time, you know. I think we ought to get these outstanding matters settled before the board meeting.
You don't want to talk while you're eating.
Why not?
Not with your stomach.
Oh, Mrs. Thursday, let me assure you that my...
What the devil?
Who are you?
You're not supposed to come in here. It's private.
Don Chambers!
Hello, Mrs. Thursday.
You wouldn't believe it. I haven't seen this young fellow since he was that high. Oh, and now look at the size of him. Well, and who's this?
Oh, this is Joyce. Joyce Goodman.
How do you do? Very pleased to meet you, dear. And this is Sir Charles Barker. And that's Mr. Lever. And that's Mr. Hunter.
Sir Charles Barker?
Yes.
Well, don't say you know each other.
No, I've heard of Sir Charles, of course.
Oh, it's a treat to see you, Don. But what are you doing here? How'd you find me?
We've been trying to get in to see you all morning.
Well, nobody told me. Oh, that's wicked.
Well, we know you're busy, but...
Yes, we are. Very busy just now.
Ah, but never too busy to see a friend. Here, have you had your dinner?
Well, no.
Oh, Muriel?
Yes, Mrs. Thursday.
Here, we can make it go round for another 2, can't we?
If you say so.
Oh, now they're here. Might as well have a bite. Oh, I'm sure we can manage. If you gentlemen don't mind.
It's a pleasure, I'm sure.
Not at all.
Oh, no, welcome.
But we do have some rather important business matters to discuss, so I really think that perhaps...
Oh, well, they can wait. I mean, I haven't seen him for about 5 years. Oh, well, come and sit down next to me, both of you. You gentlemen wouldn't mind moving down one.
Well, we don't want to break up. I mean, I just really wanted to have 5 minutes with you in private. You see, it is rather urgent.
Oh, well, after you've eaten, Don. Now, no argument. Well, how you getting on? What you doing?
Well, do you think we could talk about it now? It is rather important. You see, it's about Mr. Dunrich.
Oh, well, no later, Don.
Oh.
No, well, you can eat your soup. Well, how's your mother and father?
Oh, well,
They like their new house, do they?
yeah, they do.
I did hear your father broken his leg.
He had, yeah.
Oh, it was a nasty accident for a man of his age, wasn't it?
Oh, it was.
How's he getting over it?
It's shocking. He's all right now.
All right. Oh, well, never mind. Get on with your soup now, and we'll have a talk later.
Thursday was very tasty.
Yes, I think the food here is very nice.
Mrs. Thursday, I brought in part of your mail.
Oh, my goodness. All that lot for me?
Yes, we're working through it as quickly as we can. Most of them are begging letters, of course. We'll deal with those. But these seem to be personal, from friends.
Oh, I say, I'm terrible at letter writing. I shall never be able to answer all this lot.
We'll get you some help.
Well, I shall need something. Oh, goodness.
You won't forget you've got a board meeting in 30 minutes, will you?
No, not likely, the way they've gone on about it. Thank you, dear. Ever such a nice girl, that. Nothing's too much trouble. Well, I never knew I had so many friends. Funny they never wrote to me before. I was lucky if I got 1 letter a week. Pearl Holmes. Well, I've never heard of her for a start. We were at Green Lane School together years ago. I was Pearl Selway then. Pearl Selway. Well, of all the blinking cheek, she wouldn't speak to me in them days. I wasn't good enough. Her father was, a bank clerk or something posh. And now she's got the blinking nerve to... My hubby and I would be delighted if you could come to tea very soon. She'll be lucky.
No, you get lots of that sort of thing now, Spec.
I suppose I will. Oh, well. Oh, sorry. Because you wanted to talk to me, didn't you?
Yes.
Well, let's come and sit down where it's comfortable. Over here?
Oh, yes, all right.
Oh, it is a lovely office, isn't it?
Yes. You could get my front parlour into here 6 times over and then have room for the kitchen. Now, Don.
Well, we know you're busy, and I wouldn't bother you if it wasn't urgent,
Oh,
but...
just a minute, son. I get my knitting if you don't mind. I can think better when I'm knitting.
Yeah.
I'm making pullovers for Bert's children.
Oh.
He's getting on very well in Australia, you know.
Yeah.
But you didn't come here to talk about them, I know.
No, this really starts with Mr. Dunrich.
Mr. Dunrich?
Yes, and a promise he made 3 years ago.
Yes?
Miss Mackenzie,
Yes, Sir Charles.
is Mrs. Thursday ready?
She has people with her at the moment. There's still 15
I
minutes to
know,
go.
but we're anxious to start on time.
Yes, Sir Charles. I'll remind her again.
Come in. Oh, it's you, dear.
Your visitors have gone.
Yes, just this minute.
Sir Charles just asked me to remind you about the meeting.
Oh, yes. Well, I just wanted to finish this row.
Is there anything I can do? Anything I can get you?
No, thank you, dear. Thank you for asking.
I'll tell them to come in then, shall I?
All right. Oh, wait.
Yes.
Oh, Miss, oh, dear. I'm terrible at remembering names. You did say what
Mackenzie. Mr. Dunrich used to call me Jean.
Ah, well, could you just spare me a minute, Jean?
Yes.
Just a minute. You sit down over here. You liked working for Mr. Dunrich, did you?
Oh, yes, very much.
How long have you been here?
Since I was 18. I've been Mr. Dunrich's secretary for the last 4 years.
Oh, well, then perhaps you know something about a place called Merton Hall.
Merton Hall? Oh, yes. That's one of Mr. Dunrich's good causes. There's a picture of the place just over there.
This?
Yes.
Oh, isn't it lovely?
Oh, it's beautiful. There's about 8 acres of ground on the outskirts of Birmingham. The group bought it with a view to redevelopment as an industrial estate.
An estate?
Well, the land's very valuable. They bought it cheap and values have gone up 10 times more. At the moment, it's used as a youth club and a sports centre. Mr. Dunrich lent it to the local youth committee.
He just lent it to them?
Yes, he said they could have it rent-free until the time came to redevelop the area.
And what were they supposed to do then?
Well, he did say try and find them some alternative accommodation.
He promised?
They may have done verbally. There's certainly nothing in writing. But he often talked about it. He had a soft spot for Merton Hall. I don't really think he wanted to pull it down.
Ah, it'd be a sin. So one way and another, he did say that he'd see they didn't suffer.
I suppose he did, really. Though I doubt if the board will think so now Mr. Dunrich is gone. Hadn't I better tell them to come in? The meeting's due to start in 10 minutes.
Yes, I suppose so, dear. Where's Mr. Hunter?
He's in his office, I think.
His office?
Oh, yes, he's moved in just down the corridor. Shall I get him?
Oh, it is a beautiful place.
Shall I ask Mr. Hunter to come in?
Yes, please, dear. Oh, wait. Look.
Yes.
I'd like a word with Sir Charles and Mr. Lever before the meeting. Now, how can I do that?
I'll send for them, shall I?
Send for them? Well, would that be all right? Yes, yes. Say that I'd be very obliged if they could come in for a few minutes.
And Mr. Hunter?
Oh, where'd you say he was?
Just down the corridor.
Oh, no, I'll pop along and fetch him myself. Yes, I'd like to see what he's up to.
Right. Miss,
Willing.
Yes. Well, We'll try a little dictation, shall we, Miss Willie?
Well, I'm afraid I'm not very quick, sir.
I'm quite sure you'll be fast enough for me, my dear. In any case, I shall look for other things. Boldness of outline, in the shorthand and so forth. And so on. Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
Right, then we'll try a short item from the city column. Right. Disappointing news has been received from Babbitt and Moore, the electronics group whose... Am I too fast for you?
Well, a teeny bit.
Well, suppose you read me what you've got so far.
Read it?
Back. Read it back.
Oh.
I'm ever so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Mrs. Thursday. Just running the rule over a few secretaries, Mrs. T.
Oh, is that what you call it?
A devil of a job, not trained like they used to be, you know. Was there something you wanted?
Well, I would like a word with you, if you can spare the time.
Yes, of course, Miss T. Well, that'll be all now. Thank you, Miss Wooding. Thank you. I'll let you know.
Oh, I'm ever so sorry about the shorthand, Mr. Hunter.
Quite. Perhaps, well, off you go now. Sweet child.
Well, if she's a secretary, I'm Greta Garbo with knobs on.
You could be right.
Now, you leave it to me. You're only going to make a mess of it and land yourself with somebody with more sex than sense. I'll pick you out a girl.
That's very good of you, I'm sure, Mrs. T. I was hoping you'd say that. Most helpful.
Well, you're not married, are you, Mr. Hunter?
No, I was born a bachelor, and from the look of things, I shall die in the same state of grace.
That seems funny to me.
Funny?
Well, a well-set-up fella like yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I'm sure there must have been somebody after you.
It would be immodest of me to deny it, Mrs. T. There have been a few. I did a bunk, so to speak, at the last moment. I don't think I'm natural husband material, you know.
Oh, go on. Anyway, you need somebody to look after. You can't deny that. And I'm sure there'd be plenty of women be only too glad of the chance.
If you say so, Mrs. T.
Yes, I do. Mind you, the last thing I want to do is to interfere in your private affairs.
I'm sure of it. Mrs. T, I assure you I live a blameless life.
Yes, well, I'd like to see you settle. But as you say, it's none of my business.
I didn't say that. You did.
Did I? Oh, well, never mind. Anyway, we'll talk about it some other time. Now back to business. I've made up my mind about one or two things, Mr. Hunter, and I'd like your, what do they say?
Moral support?
Well, yes. First of all, I want you to read this letter. When you've done that, I'll explain what I want to do.
Something's upset you, Mrs. T.
Well, you might say that, yes. I'm not one for bad language as a rule, Mr. Hunter, but just at this minute, I feel bloody angry.
This really is going too far.
Keeping the entire board waiting.
Sending for us.
And then she's not even here.
Well, when she does deign to put in an appearance, Joe, we must tell her quite firmly that we don't intend to stand for any more of this nonsense.
Aye, we've been too easy, Charlie. This time we'll put our foot down with a bang.
Yes. Now, look here, Mrs. Thursday.
We've been very patient.
But there is a limit.
And we've reached it. Oh.
Yeah, I told you, but you wouldn't listen, would you? Now, first of all, I'd like you both to sit down over here, where I can see you.
Mrs. Thursday.
Over here, please. You've been doing all the talking so far today. Now it's our turn. Mr. Hunter's got one or two things to say to you, and he can't talk if you're frigging about like frogs in a bucket.
Yes, quite. Now, Sir Charles, did you send this letter?
I did. There's my signature.
And you sent it the day before yesterday?
Yes, and I fail to see what all this
You
is...
will if you give him a chance to finish.
This letter's a notice to quit. You gave the Merton Hall Youth Centre 1 month's notice.
Yes?
That's a very valuable site. We've been planning to develop it for years. They've had a good run for their money.
Our money?
Aye, for our money. At today's prices, we could sell it for development and clear $250,000 profit. More.
Yes, but why wasn't it sold before?
Well, we wanted to, but Mr. Dunrich kept stalling for some reason or another.
Because he liked what they were doing up there. Because he thought it was important that children should have a decent place to go.
Who told you this?
The 2 young people who joined us for lunch. They happen to be members of the Merton Hall Centre, and naturally they're anxious about the future.
Well, I hope you sent them off with a flea in their ears. We're not a charitable institution, you know. Dunrich should have put that property up for development 2 years ago.
But he didn't.
Well, we pressed him often enough, never fear.
Ah, yes, you had to wait till he was dead in his grave, didn't you?
Oh, now, Mrs. Thursday, that's not quite fair.
It's the plain truth, isn't it? You sent that letter 2 days ago.
But I was only looking after the company's interest.
Ah, but that's the fundamental issue, is it not, Sir Charles? On whose authority was the letter sent?
Well...
Did you consult the board? There hasn't been a meeting. Mrs. Thursday assures me you didn't consult her.
We fully intended to bring it to Mrs. Thursday's notice.
And to place it before the board at a later date.
Yes, when it was too late to do anything.
Yes. Well, Mrs. Thursday wishes this letter to be withdrawn. She also wishes that Merton Hall should be given to the Birmingham Corporation for use as a youth centre.
Given?
Given, Mr. Lever. Given by this group as a permanent memorial to our late founder, Mr. George Dunrich.
That's right. He made this firm, he made you, everything. And he wanted that place to stay the way it is. The least we can do is to carry out his wishes. He earned that, I reckon.
It's like giving them a cheque for $250,000.
I looked at the balance sheet. I believe we can afford it.
250.
Now, I understand you gentlemen have made certain proposals to Mrs. Thursday, as to your future status in the organisation.
We have?
I have to inform you that Mrs. Thursday has carefully considered the matter.
You mean if we agree to the Merton Hall scheme, you'll accept our proposition?
Not quite.
What's the catch?
Mrs. Thursday doesn't wish to play an active day-to-day part in the work of the group. She frankly recognizes she hasn't the necessary business experience.
Very sensible.
Mr. Dunrich was, as you know, both chairman and managing director. Mrs. Thursday proposes to separate the two functions. She proposes that you, Sir Charles, and you, Mr. Lever, should assume the functions of joint managing directors and continue as vice chairman.
And the chair?
Well, Mrs. Thursday herself will become chairman.
Yeah, somebody's got to keep an eye on you.
Oh, damn it, this needs considering. I mean, as one of the largest shareholders, I
Mrs.
don't...
Thursday controls 75%, I believe.
Joint managing directors, eh? It's not bad, Joe.
No, I suppose not.
May I take it you accept?
Hobson's choice, isn't it?
We accept. May I? Suits you perfectly, madam.
Now, don't you come... Oh, never mind.
Sir Charles?
Thank you.
Right. We better have them all in and get started.
Come in, gentlemen, please.